OMG! This story is more dramatic than a soap opera marathon. We're diving deep into a shocking feud between two of Tinseltown's biggest names, Julia Roberts and Steven Spielberg. Trust me, you won't believe what's going down.
I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be.
Nobody talks about.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh, yeah.
Steven Spielberg, I find quite confused.
Tell us the secret about Steven Spielberg. He eats babies. Whole babies.
But even that was quite conversational, and that wasn't sort of like saying, oh my God, you're never gonna. It was just.
All right, loves, let's break this down. Steven Spielberg, the legendary director behind blockbusters like Jaws and E.T., is reportedly threatening Julia Roberts, America's sweetheart herself. Why? Well, it seems Julia might have dropped some serious intel to the FBI that's got Spielberg sweating bullets. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a movie script, but this is real life, honey.
I find him to be, unfortunately, not as good at remembering the time that we spent together.
Now, before we dive into the juicy details, let's rewind a bit. Julia and Steven have had a pretty tense relationship ever since they worked together on the film Hook back in the late 1980s. It wasn't exactly smooth sailing on set, and that's putting it mildly.
Steven Spielberg, I find quite confused.
Tell us the secret about Steven Spielberg. He eats babies. Whole babies.
So, what's the deal? What could Julia possibly know that's got Spielberg so riled up? And how did we get from on-set drama to FBI involvement? Buckle up, besties, because this Hollywood feud is about to get wild.
Steven Spielberg, I find quite confused in his recollection of me. I know more about, him and his life and Amy Irving and what have you.
Back when they were filming Hook, Spielberg wasn't exactly shy about criticizing Julia. He called her unprofessional and difficult to work with. Ouch, that's gotta hurt, especially coming from one of the biggest directors in the biz. But here's the kicker. Julia was going through some serious personal drama at the time.
I know more about, him and his life and Amy Irving and what have you than I probably said about my own life.
Poor Julia was dealing with a major crisis in her personal life. Her engagement to Kiefer Sutherland was falling apart after she found out he was cheating on her. Talk about heartbreak. Despite all this drama, Julia tried to stay professional on set, but Spielberg's harsh words left her feeling hurt and betrayed. Can you imagine trying to act your heart out while your personal life is crumbling and your director is criticizing you? It's no wonder the emotional toll was immense.
It wasn't what she wanted to do in the end. And I think it took a lot of courage, in amongst all of that other stuff, to be able to say, I can't do this.
Spielberg, noticing how the drama was affecting Julia's work, didn't hold back. In a now infamous interview with 60 Minutes, he admitted, "It was not a great time for Julia and I to be working together." Julia was absolutely devastated by his comments. She had opened up to him on set about her personal turmoil, hoping for some support. Instead, she felt totally betrayed. In a Vanity Fair interview, Julia fired back, calling Spielberg a turncoat for not defending her when people labeled her difficult to work with. "I saw that and my eyes popped out of my head," she said. "I couldn't believe that this person I knew and trusted was actually hesitating to come to my defense." Julia even hinted that Spielberg's memory of what happened during filming was fuzzy at best, implying that he wasn't fully aware of the emotional struggles she was facing. But besties, what was once just a professional falling out has now escalated into something much more dangerous.
Steven Spielberg, I find quite confused in his recollection of me.
Fast forward to today, and Julia's decision to spill some serious tea about Spielberg to the FBI has apparently sent him into a rage. Now, this is where things get really wild. Roberts allegedly provided information that links Spielberg to Jeffrey Epstein and his notorious circle. Yes, you heard that right. Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender whose case shocked the world. Newly surfaced court documents have reignited speculation about Epstein's associates, and Spielberg's name is reportedly being whispered behind the scenes. Can you imagine? One of Hollywood's most beloved directors potentially linked to one of its darkest scandals. It's giving me chills just thinking about it.
I'm not even going to talk about Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is a...
But here's the thing, loves. Julia, still hurt by years of feeling unsupported by Spielberg, seems determined to reveal the truth, even if it means risking her own safety. The cracks in Spielberg's public image are starting to show, and it's not just about his professional fallout with Julia Roberts anymore. There are whispers about inappropriate behavior from Spielberg's past that are seriously raising eyebrows. Some have pointed to a disturbing conversation that allegedly took place during the pre-production of Indiana Jones. Apparently, Spielberg and George Lucas discussed a romantic storyline involving Indiana Jones and an 11-year-old girl. I know, I'm as shocked as you are. While the idea was eventually scrapped, thank goodness, the fact that such a conversation even took place has left fans feeling uneasy. According to reports, George Lucas said, "I was thinking that this old guy could have been his mentor. He could have known this little girl when she was just a kid, had an affair with her when she was 11. Spielberg reportedly chimed in, saying, "She had better be older than 22. Yikes. The three men allegedly went back and forth over the matter, with one suggesting that the girl should be the one throwing herself at Jones rather than the other way around. They even considered bumping up the age to around 15 years, but not further than that, or they feared the story could lose its edge. I mean, seriously? Who thought it was cool to make a young girl hook up with an older guy just to make the movie edgier? But wait, there's more. If you think Spielberg's thing with young characters was just a one-off, think again. There's an unsettling rumor surrounding the filming of Jurassic Park. Spielberg allegedly spent suspicious amounts of time alone with young actress Ariana Richards, raising eyebrows about his behavior.
I get really inspired to paint portraiture, I would say, is my very favorite thing.
Richards, who has remained tight-lipped about her Hollywood experiences, is said to have sought therapy for years and refuses to discuss her time in the industry. According to sources, Spielberg allegedly put her in some uncomfortable situations that really messed with her head. After Jurassic Park, she did a few more films, but eventually left Hollywood for good. Now she's a painter, finding peace and expression through her art. Maybe that's her way of coping and healing. Then there's Spielberg's connection to Roman Polanski, the director who fled the U.S. after being convicted of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl. Spielberg and Polanski were known to be close, and some are wondering if their friendship hints at a larger pattern of inappropriate behavior in Hollywood.
Yeah, when he wanted to get into jacuzzi, I knew I was in trouble. Like, wait, this is not what he's supposed to be doing.
On March 10, 1977, Polanski was arrested in Los Angeles on multiple charges involving Samantha Geimer, who was just 13 at the time. The charges included unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor. Polanski fled from justice in February 1978, just hours before his scheduled sentencing. He's since resided mainly in France, avoiding countries where he might face extradition to the United States. Adding to the chaos, former child actor Corey Feldman has been vocal about the big secret in Hollywood, one that the industry's executives have tried to keep under wraps. Since 2011, Feldman, alongside his late friend Corey Haim, has waged a war to make Hollywood safer for children and young men. As a victim himself, he described how, as a young actor, he was forced into situations he would rather not have endured, often at the hands of industry elites who have been getting away with their actions for years. Feldman explained that victims often feel frozen in shock, overwhelmed by experiences they are too young to process. The situation grows more complex and tragic as Feldman recounted that many of those who took advantage of him were people he thought were friends, figures he admired and trusted.
The video is disturbing. Just released surveillance footage from 2016 showing what appears to be Diddy violently assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie.
Now, besties, let's talk about another shocking case that's rocking Hollywood, the allegations against Sean "Diddy" Combs. CNN recently released a video showing a disturbing incident between Diddy and his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. The footage, dated March 5, 2016, appears to show Diddy physically assaulting Cassie at the now-closed Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles.
Diddy then attempts to drag her away from the elevator bank. Later in the footage, it appears Diddy shoves Cassie in the corner, then throws an object in her direction.
In the video, Cassie is seen exiting a hotel room and walking towards the elevators. Diddy, holding a towel around his waist, runs after her, grabs her by the back of the neck, and throws her to the floor. He then kicks her twice as she lies motionless on the ground. It's absolutely horrifying to watch, loves.
Says that not long after she met him in 2005, when she was only 19 years old, he began a pattern of control and abuse that included.
Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy alleges that he subjected her to severe beatings, leaving her with black eyes, a burst lip, and a huge welt on her forehead. The lawsuit claims that Diddy's security guard and assistant were moved to tears when they saw her injuries. Cassie was reportedly forced to seclude herself in hotels until her bruises healed.
So you feel like Diddy was having with the male prostitutes? They had to be for both of them. They was in the room, right? You're right. It's a freak-off section.
But it gets even worse, besties. The lawsuit includes allegations of Diddy forcing Cassie to have multiple male prostitutes while he watched, masturbated, and recorded. These alleged incidents, referred to as freak-offs in the lawsuit, reportedly occurred in various hotel suites, including at the Trump International Hotel in New York City. Now, let's bring this back to Spielberg and Roberts. Julia's decision to involve the FBI might just be the final blow for Spielberg, whose Hollywood reign could be in jeopardy. With these old wounds resurfacing and new allegations bubbling to the surface, the question now is, will Spielberg's threats silence Roberts, or will her revelations bring him down? One thing's for sure, loves, this is no longer just a Hollywood feud. It's a potential expose of the dark underbelly of the entertainment industry. The need for systemic changes in Hollywood is urgent. Children and young adults must be protected from those who might exploit their innocence, inflicting trauma that can haunt them for a lifetime. That's why actors like Jennifer Lawrence are calling for immediate measures to protect those working in Hollywood. Lawrence argues that if the industry can create safe environments for animals during filming, it must also prioritize the safety of humans in these potentially toxic settings. She emphasizes the need to prevent these situations rather than waiting and hoping they won't occur again. Unfortunately, victims often carry the heavy burden of guilt, and public stigmatization only exacerbates their suffering. This is particularly prevalent when the accused is a wealthy or well-known figure. Perpetrators frequently manipulate narratives, portraying victims as opportunists seeking financial gain, which skews public perception. One commenter wrote, "Just because a person is successful and wealthy does not mean they are a good person." Another added, "All of these Hollywood psychos need to be held accountable, especially when children are involved." This cycle of victim blaming perpetuates the silence and fear that keeps many from coming forward, highlighting the urgent need for change in Hollywood. Julia Roberts, for her part, is reportedly determined to see justice served. She's fed up with the dark secrets of Hollywood, and she's ready to shine a light on what's really going on behind the scenes. But Spielberg isn't going down without a fight. Insiders say that he's pulling out all the stops to keep Julia quiet, even threatening her with legal action if she doesn't back off. So, what's next for these two Hollywood heavyweights? Will Julia's decision to give Spielberg up to the FBI lead to his downfall, or will Spielberg's threats be enough to keep her quiet? One thing's for sure, besties, this scandal is far from over, and the world will be watching closely as the next chapter unfolds. That's all for today, loves. Remember, in Hollywood, the truth is often stranger than fiction. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears to the ground, because you know we will always bring you the hottest, juiciest celebrity tea. Until next time, stay fabulous and stay woke. You are watching Hot Gossip. Goodbye.